Hello and welcome to the Fantasy Football Fix. I am Richard from the DipsyDudes and it is here, it is finally here, it is game week 33. This is the game week that we've been planning for since January. 6 teams are missing, only 7 games are being played. The question is, have you got your house in order? We'll be looking into that in just a little bit, but first let's take a look at the dream team for game week 32. It's a 3-5-2 formation, and if you didn't believe in Palace before, you should do after last week, with Glenn Murray getting a goal, 2 assists, deuce bonus points, making it 38 points in 3 weeks. Also up top, Sergio Aguero got his first goal since game week 26 with deuce goals and bonus in a 12-point haul. The midfield is where the big sexy points can be found, with Balassi getting a massive 24 points with a hat-trick, assist and man of the match display. This week's random Manchester United Dream Team player was a man I tipped way back in the first episode of The Fixed, and my word, it's taken him a long time to come good. It's Ashley Young with his 14 points coming from a goal, 2 assists and a bonus point. The rest of the midfield all scored the same 11 points, made up of a goal, clean sheet and max bonus points, with Joe Allen getting his first goal, first bonus points and highest score of the season. His Welsh teammate Aaron Ramsey made it 2 goals in 4 and 36 points in 4 games, while Cesc Fabregas scored double digits and a goal for the first time since game week 17. Finally, in the defence, you could say it was done up to the nines, with Aaron Cresswell getting his from a goal and a bonus, while Lovren and Alderweireld got theirs from a clean sheet man of the match display. And finally, Brad Guzan got his from a clean sheet, deuce bonus points and a save point. 4 players in that dream team will not play this week. It's a lot of drama going on, and these are your game week 33 players for your consideration. Let's talk about who we are missing this week because of the FA Cup semi-final. Arsenal, Liverpool, Hull, QPR, Aston Villa, Sunderland. That means we've got some of the biggest form players and most popular picks out for this game week. I'm looking at the likes of Benteke, Giroud, Austin, Ramsey, Sterling, Sanchez, Mignolet, Ospina, Guzan are all missing. So where do we start with this game week? Well, I say, let's start at Selhurst Park. I talked last week about the possibility of Palace players getting big points against Sunderland, and oh my word, they did not disappoint. You've now got Murray and Balassi, who are officially the 2 most in-form players in the game today. And they are cheap. They are so very, very cheap. You can get them for 5.5 million each or less, and they've got some good games coming up. The next 2 games are home, and they are home to West Brom this weekend and then Hull next weekend. 2 teams who have been in absolutely shocking form. Hull have only scored 2 goals in their last 7 away games. West Brom have shipped 10 goals in their last 3 games, and they've only gone 1 better during the same away game period as Hull. That's right, they've only scored 4 goals in their last 7 away games. Meanwhile, Murray has scored 6 in 6. Balassi has scored 42 points in his last 4 games. That coming from 3 goals, 4 assists and 2 man of the match displays. And on top of all that, they've still got the likes of Puncheon and Zaha to choose from, who have hardly slouched it since the turn of the year. They are all under 6 million. That's the best thing. They're all dirt cheap. Hell, out of those 4, 3 of them you can get them for under 5.5. It's an absolute bargain. Now, their defence hasn't been great, but you can pick up their defenders such as Scott Dann for under 5 million, so that's a good price, and considering the 2 games they've got coming up, I'd say it's a crystal clear choice who to go for. Look out for the Leicester versus Swansea game this weekend because the home side have a couple of nice budget options for you, with the likes of Nugent, Cambiasso and Vardy, the slayer of Manchester United, hitting form at the right time this season. The Italian has grabbed 2 goals and 6 bonus points in his last 6 games. Nugent has grabbed 2 goals in his last 3 starts and got a man of the match against West Brom last weekend, while Vardy has managed to grab 24 points in his last 3 games. The Foxes have scored 10 goals in their last 3 games, and against a Swansea team not fighting for much, that could continue. Now, if you were looking at Palace players and going, "Oh my stars and garters, 5.5 million? I could never afford that. That is far too rich for my blood." Well, guess what? These Leicester attackers, their main attackers as of late, will cost you between 4.5 and 5 million each. Bargain. Sergio Aguero got his first goal since February last weekend, and with Man City looking poor as of late, having lost 4 out of their last 6, the question is, can Aguero score points regardlessly of how badly his team is playing? Is he so naturally gifted that he can score in spite of the players around him? Well, he's still in the overall dream team for a start, as Man City have 2 home fixtures against West Ham and Villa, and nearly a quarter of managers in the game right now will be looking at him to score the points this weekend. If you can move the money around and you've got the transfers available, I'd say go for it, because he's pretty much the only person to pick from as it pertains to superstar strikers this weekend. There's lots of nice striking options, but as of superstars, there's pretty much only Sergio Aguero. This Sunday sees Newcastle host Spurs, and if these 2 teams keep playing as poorly as they have done the last couple of weeks, then the universe could easily implode with how much they both suck. I feel that this is a big week for Harry Kane. He's had a couple of tame games as of late, along with all of the Spurs team, might I add, and they might very well be on the beach already up here, if you know what I mean. With the form he has been in this season, though, and the likelihood that he will probably end up being the PFA Young Player of the Year, that he has to do something against this Newcastle team. I mean, Liverpool played rubbish last Monday night, and they still beat them 2-0. Look for Harry Kane to get back in the goals, but if he doesn't, well, I think it might be time to say ta-ra to Harry Kane. In making your selections for this week, I will say again, if you have planned your bench correctly, then do not dump your big players who aren't playing this week. You need to be looking ahead at game week 34, because it's going to be a double game week with Hull, Leicester, Chelsea and Liverpool all playing twice, while Arsenal and Sunderland get their double game week in game week 37. Looking at those fixtures, if you go for those cheap Leicester players this week, then you can double up on them next week when they face Burnley at the War at Turf Moor and then host Chelsea, who themselves would have just come off a game against Arsenal. Hull travel to Palace and then host Liverpool, who will have travelled to West Brom 3 days earlier. This is a week for your bench. You can try and mess around with dropping your big players, bringing in someone else and then hoping to bring them back next week, but make sure you don't get stung on rising prices. Otherwise, you won't be able to get them all back, and that could be a disaster. That could end your season like that. I say, look at your budget players, look at your bench players, bench those big players this week, and whoever's missing, get around it, use your bench, and then have them ready for the next few weeks of the season, because they are gonna be big. The DipsyDudes Divisional Championship. I got a feeling that this league is becoming a procession now, with Latchford again staying at the top with a Herbie rule matching 53 points, thanks to Aguero and some solid defensive efforts. A special mention to 2 teams who were joint highest scorers of the week, with our 20th place team Pure Gold living up to their name thanks to some strong showings both up top and at the back, And then, all the way back in 126th place, it's FC Tomsk, thanks to a huge midfield display. Right, that's about it for this game week. Thank you very much for joining us. Remember, if you like what you see, click like, leave us a comment, or hit subscribe to ensure that you get the latest DipsyDudes videos as soon as they are released. We have a social media presence on Twitter and Facebook, as well as a discussion group on fiso.co.uk and an email. All those ways for you to get in touch with us. I recommend the Twitter account because we do get some good banter going on the weekends. So feel free to check that one out. But until next week, thank you again for joining us and good luck to all you managers out there in game week 33. It might be small, but it could be oh so important.